Hello, everybody. You know what time it is. I know what time it is. We all know what time it is. That's right. It's time for Syntax Live. How is everybody doing? I hope everybody is doing okay. It's been a very screwed up time over on this side of the lake, but yeah, well, I'll let you know what's going on. Before we get started, though, Papa Top, I got mine. Of course, it says bad mother. Never mind. You guys can read it yourselves if you want. I still don't remember where I bought this, but I still thought it was funny. Speaking of funny, I'm gonna go straight into the story that's been going on so far. It's raining. Actually, it's supposed to be it's raining. Dot dot dot. Originally, that was supposed to be it's raining, and then during the story, it's supposed to be something else. I kind of went away from that, but it's coming back, folks. Don't worry, it is coming back. And when it comes back, it's coming back with a passion. But sorry, excuse me. That one came up hard. No pun intended. Anyway, speaking of which, the jokes, hopefully they're not going too far into the gutter for everybody. Like the one that the chapter that just dropped, how the front of the ship got shot off, the enemy ship, and they basically got circumcised. I don't know if that one actually landed or that crash and burn like a B-17 with the tail shot off. I mean, it is what it is. Unfortunately, because I haven't been able to put anything out a lot this week, I don't have a lot of notes. I really don't. So it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. So, and that's what us Gen Xers always say. It is what it is. And that's one of the things that makes us dangerous. And one thing that helps out with some of the stuff that's going on around the country. And we're going to get into that later. But right now, I do want to send out a heads up, a notice that starting from you guys being so generous last week, I couldn't help but do this. Okay. If anybody drops at least one full bill, you will get an entire month's worth of shout outs. You're not just getting a week, you're getting a full month. Because that was, I got Coslin and Chris Dixon. You guys both, I know, Chris, you said only once a month, but dude, seriously, that was excessively generous. And I want to give a shout out and a thank you to anybody who helps the channel. Now, speaking of people who actually help the channel, believe it or not, in the comment section, I keep saying this. If you drop a comment in the comment section, I will read it. I'm not very good at remembering to check my emails because I've been running around like a total schmuck for the past several days. But somebody in the comment section brought up the fact that I was just going after reptilians, and they brought up the fact that there are different types of reptilians. As you can see in one of the previous chapters, I believe it was chapter 6 of It's Raining, there were reptilians, but they're not the same lizard people that you're expecting to see, where they just look like anthropomorphized iguanas. Because of that suggestion, I actually went in and adjusted the story because honestly, it sounded better. Yes, I do listen to you guys. Yes, I do put what you put in the stories, as long as it works. I'm not going to put time travel in a science fiction story that it doesn't fit. I can't put suddenly, the Death Star inside a fantasy story if it doesn't fit. So it's got to fit. And let me just adjust this here. That's a little off. I didn't adjust this right. And there we go. Anyways. So yeah, I wanted to give a heads up on that one. Okay. Somebody brought up this also. It's an old adage. Blades don't run out of bullets. It's true. They had a whole list of things where blades don't jam, blades don't need ammo, blades are more honorable. It's killing is killing, okay? Honorable or not, either you're alive or you're dead. I mean, that situation. This is coming from an infantryman, guys. Second place for us is a body bag, okay? That's just the nature of the beast, and that's why in these stories, it's really cut and dry on this. There was actually one story, I forget exactly what it was titled, where somebody's honor bit him in the ass. And yes, they did use a bit of a laser around there. I can't say the name or else I might get freaking dinged on the copyright, folks. But it was just to make the point. And honestly, I wanted to use the joke from Game of Thrones where Bronn kills the guy and they're like, "You don't fight with honor." No, he did. I'm still alive. And he didn't actually say that last part, but that was what was going on. But yeah, good point. Blades don't run out of bullets. And that is actually why in a previous story, you'll actually see the thumbnail. It's the guy from StarCraft. He's got his retractable bayonet shot out in front of him right before he stabs the Zerg in the gut and tosses it down like a little bitch. So you are right. And maybe, just maybe, it might come into play later. I'm not going to say too much, guys. I only had a chance to do like maybe an hour or two of writing. This is as far as I got today. That's 5.5 pages. I had to go help my dad out all day. I was gone since like 7 a.m. And not to mention, I woke up with a really bad headache. And you guys know it's hard to focus when your head is going ka-dung, dung, dung. And it's kind of my fault. I slept all sorts of wrong last night, and it was just bad. Anyway, that's enough of me bitching and moaning. Just a reminder that this series that I'm working on is going to be the last long form story that I do for a long time. Reason being, it takes a very, very long time to actually put it out, and I need to stop and wait a minute because the sir, how you doing, sir? And I saw that pop up. It's in my peripheral vision right here. He sent a big super sticker, and that's going to make my headache even worse, me doing that. But let me write down here, the sir. He sent a full bill. He didn't send anything. He just sent the wonderful, how's that go? Hold on, let me move my hands. The heart thing that I see on all the anime characters doing. And I do appreciate that, sir, very much. And just FYI, sir, if you're good with the aircraft carrier still, I'll just keep using that. If you want something else, let me know. And that goes for anybody else who wants something in particular. When I check my emails, Brian Kemp, if you're in there, I don't see you in here yet. But he actually, the reason why I keep using that one picture for him is because he sent it. Okay, he's like, here, use this. And I will use it every time unless he asks something different. Just like I won't mention who, hint, hint, said about red-haired ladies. And speaking of the ladies, I was waiting for, was it Erica and Ava to both put in chat so I could use that picture from Starship Troopers of the two ladies, both up there with their weapons. And we're going to let you guys figure out which one is which. So, sorry for getting sidetracked, but once again, thank you very much, sir. I very much appreciate it, and I hope you are doing well, and I hope everybody is doing well, and I hope nobody's in the way of that hurricane that's coming through. Of course, if you are, you're probably not listening to this, probably holding onto a telephone pole, doing the whole thing from Jeff Dunham. We love it here. All right. Anyway. Back to what I was saying with the long form story. I hope you're not used to it because that's not going to keep going. It just takes too long, and I need to put stuff out, and I need to stop again because we have an MTF guard with a $5 super chat. Let me finish writing this down before I read it. Okay, he says, sir's paying Sin's bills again. And what's your political opinion on beans, as in the magical fruit? Beans. What are you referring to with beans? Is that an acronym? I'm not sure what I'm getting at. I've been away from politics, unfortunately, because when my family's around, I can't hear anything political. I got certain family members who will sit there and do nothing but complain until you turn the station. It's absolutely crazy. Actual beans. As far as a side dish, they're okay. They should not be a staple. Holy crap, we're getting busy here because we got another $5 super. I don't think I call that a sticker with the SS Demon. And hold on, I almost forgot to write all of guard stuff down here. And he's got the messed up controller there, probably in reference to the fact that I've had a headache for 2 days. But my fault on that one. Sometimes when I'm recording, guys, it's either I'm up like this or I'm stuck in one position. I'm sure you guys can hear it a little bit. This chair squeaks like a son of a bitch, and this microphone picks up every little bit. So that's why I have to hold position. And oh shit, Erica's here again. Wow, you guys are freaking really throwing in. Erica, who is truly, truly, truly outrageous. And Erica, was it you that wanted the red hair? I'm kidding. I know who it was. Anyways, again, if you guys want something in particular, you need to let me know. And she sends a super chat saying, thank you for all your hard work. And you are quite welcome. Thank you very much for supporting. And thank you for even being here tonight on Syntax Live. And we go live, as you know, every Wednesday. Don't forget, if you guys want to send me an email, I made sure I put it down there in that box down there. And if you want a direct message, if you have a story that you want me to look over, and yes, I know, Demon, I still have your stuff here. I don't know, my notes are a little messed up. All your stuff, yes, with your ships. Yes, if you guys send me something, I will get to it. Just give me some time to get to it. Because again, this story in particular is taking me a very long time. There's only a few more chapters to go. Maybe. Depends on how things go. But the thing is, I'm not getting a lot of views. But one of the key things is you guys give me crap about not actually finishing a series. So I am going to finish out the series. Even if it just means it's one section. Anyways, sorry, I'm all over the place. Let me get a drink so I can focus. Okay, I'm back. All right. I actually wrote down in my notes that the long form story is as close to a book as I can get right now. Because if I was to actually write a book on this series, you're looking at 20 to 30 different named characters would be in it. This would be very, very, very in depth as far as you got the people dealing with the personal issues, dealing with the way society changes, dealing with other societies, and that's just on this planet. And then you got dealing with other species and their society, how it's going to interlock or work against or whatever it might be. Plus, you got the whole conflict to go with. I mean, that would be very, very in depth. I'd love to make an anime of it. I'd love to make an anime out of pretty much anything I've made on this channel. I would love that shit. Fly my ass to Japan. Hell, don't even do that. Just let me know how much you need it, and we'll get it all rolling. Anyways, yep, there's the 20 characters, and I mentioned how it does take time. And yes, I do apologize for the every other day. I could get them out every day, but I'm facing a time crunch and I'm facing burnout. It is what it is, folks, because everything's created by me. And again, I look at what you guys put in the comment section, and you guys have saved my ass on a couple of these stories. So thank you. I'm not worthy. You guys have really, really helped me out on making my stuff better because of your suggestions. I guarantee pretty much everybody in the chat box right now has sent me a suggestion in the comment section. I'm like, oh, why didn't I see that? Oh, you beautiful geniuses, you. Oh, why didn't I see that? No one person thinks of everything. I may have how do I put this? I may have a mind that can break everything down like that, but I just can't focus on everything. No one man can. If you can, they're functioning autistic, and I'm not one. So coming off the channel, before we get in some, shall we say, juicy shit, we're going to get into the hurricanes, folks, because that's the big news going on right now. Before you ask, do I think they might have manipulated it a bit? Yes, I do. I believe they have the technology because I know they have the technology. Cloud seeding has been a thing since the late 1920s. Late 1920s. They used to send up rockets. They made a big deal about it. Now they just spray it over with planes and call it good. Do they have certain devices that can actually adjust what direction a low pressure system goes? Abso-fucking-lutely. HARP was the very first one. I guarantee it's part of their system. It takes a little bit of doing. And here's the kicker. If you go on channels like Into Thin Air, which I watch him every freaking hurricane season, because he does a really good job and he breaks down that a lot of the stuff they're doing can be caught in those sensors. They can actually maneuver those. Did they actually want to kill everybody? I don't know. I think they just wanted to kind of shoo them away. Do I think it's what's going on is bad over there? Yes, it's bad. Everybody I talk to that either is there or knows somebody who's there says the same thing. It's just bad. They said it's like a war zone. I can go, oh, so it's home. You know, that's just the way it is. And you know what? I expected them to find bodies. Now, I wanted to break down this for anybody who may be affected in the future or is worried about anybody in those areas. The very first thing they're going to need, okay, is you got to remember the rule of threes, okay? They have plenty of air, so you don't have to worry about the 3 minutes of air. The 3 hours in inclement weather, you got to remember it's autumn. It may only go down into the 60s or the 50s over there, but trust me, for the Carolinas, that's fucking cold. Okay, when you're, I found this out when I was deployed. If you're used to 120 degrees, 80 degrees, you're shivering. You're so cold. It's just the way the world is. So, because they don't have adequate protection, that's what they need. Okay, don't send anybody freaking money to those folks because Lord knows where they're going to send it off to. There's a lot of what they call them now, grifters. Fuck those guys up the ass with a telephone pole size freaking dildo covered in barbed wire because I want it to hurt. Freaking assholes ripping everybody off like that when all they're trying to do is help. Of course, we can go into what the government's doing with the Blackhawks and the Chinooks and all that sort of stuff. You've all seen that, so I don't want to go into that too much. But if it's wintertime, after being able to breathe, you have to be able to survive several hours in inclement weather, which is non-favorable conditions. It's either cold or it's wet. Okay, if you watch Survivor Man, you know what I'm talking about. He even says the same thing. The worst thing out there to deal with is cold. You can't just sit down and take a break. You have to keep moving. You don't have a choice. And I've been in cold weather conditions. I used to teach that class. It fucking sucks. So, and that's why in a lot of the stories I do, I try to hint at that. Just like they found the ship. I forget which story it was. They found the ship that was crashed. They're like, oh, the humans are dead. They must be dead. It's like negative 10 degrees centigrade. Really? You think we can't survive that shit? So after that, guys, with the 3 hours of minimum of inclement weather, is water is next. After that is food. Keep those in order and you're good. If anybody says, hey, do you want to donate something? Donate a jacket, donate some scarf, donate gloves. Believe me, it's gloves is, I never go out to the field without extra gloves and extra socks. It's crazy. All right. That's all that I'm going to talk about the hurricane because one is right now striking Florida and they're not having any fun. That thing storm surge of probably 10 feet. So good luck to them. That's all I can say. All right. The only other thing I want to say is, yes, I have, because people have been talking about this all damn day. Yes, I heard about the P. Diddly Doo and their parties. Yikes, dude. Yikes, 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 yikes. You guys should know my feelings on that because I put it in the stories. People that do that sort of stuff need to be strung up by whatever materials they're using to do that sort of nasty, disgusting shit. And yeah, just no on so many levels. I don't even want to talk about it. It's messed up, but it's in my notes because it is the big issue. I do want to say that that's one of the things that's pulling away a lot of people from channels like this is they're getting enthralled with the political stuff and the social crap. So anyway, like I said, I don't have diddly shit for notes. No, sorry. I didn't even realize I just punned the living shit out of that. Sorry about that, guys. That was bad. Okay. I'm just going to run over here to the chats here, and I see all the super chats that are in here. And it looks like most of these Guardian said, hold on. Where is everybody? And why should I be quiet? Are we hunting something? Yeah, wabbits. I caught one in the trap and I was trying to catch the raccoons. Didn't take out the rabbit. I mean, damn thing was only like this big. I mean, just there was nothing to it. So I'm like, whatever, go get eaten by a fox. Okay. Was apparently demons talking about little Obi-Wan there, who wow, when that dude got divorced, he got raked over the coals, something fierce. Hey, War Sniper, you forgot the third one. It's supposed to go, hey, hey, hey. Anyway, yeah, if you don't know where that's from, then you're too young. mm. Yeah, you're right, Guardian Sage. They only go after wabbits. It's wabbit season, duck season. No, Elma season. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. Lena saying MCU needs X-Men to survive. Yeah, they do, because once they finished Endgame, yeah, they were done. The thing is, they almost killed Endgame. They almost did with that one scene. That one fucking scene. Everybody knows it. As soon as I mention it, everybody listening is going to cringe, because everybody in the theater. I've never known an entire theater to go ugh at the same time. And it was the girl power scene. It was so out of place. Didn't make a lick of sense for that to happen. And the thing is, they had all these characters, and then Miss I'm Better Than Everybody Else literally just flies through like a friggin' missile on amphetamines and just flies through everybody. Didn't need any help in the first place. And I'm just like, just like everybody else. What the fuck? And they've been on that whole woke kick ever since then. And you go broke, you go woke, and then you croak. That's how Razor Fist says it. But yeah, Disney is just trying to buy everything, and they do a shit job. Their entire business model is collapsing in on itself. And honestly, after I seen what Disney was teaching kids, and they fucked with me. I know they fucked with me. How do I know they fucked with me? Because growing up, when Gashy Tony, whoever the fuck it was, fell off at the end of Beauty and the Beast, I remember thinking, there's something in his eyes. There is something in his eyes. What the fuck is in his eyes? And then when people slowed it down, now that we got YouTube, they showed the skulls in his eyes. I'm like, no wonder that shit freaks me out so goddamn much. Fuck you, dude. Then the naked woman on The Rescuers. I was 4 years old, and suddenly I'm obsessed with trying to see girls naked. At that young, you're not supposed to be that way. They fucked with my head, man, and I hate the fact they fuck with everyone else. So yeah, anyways, let's see. Lena says, you're talking about Zeta Reptilians. You know what? I don't have my notes on that, so I'm going to take your word for it. Guardian Sage saying, but the Death Star is fantasy. Though I get your meaning. Yeah, science fantasy. Yeah, I don't do much science fantasy, guys. My brain doesn't work that way. I keep trying to put logic into a science fantasy. And if I did, then you wouldn't have fighters flying like World War II dog fights in space, turning into a fur ball. It just wouldn't happen that way. I mean, can you turn that way in space? Sure. There's no reason to. It just doesn't. You would be just burning all your fuel trying to maneuver that way. Let's see. MTF Guard saying, just learned that Ukraine is using welding and attacking Russian T-90Ms to Abrams while adding on jammers with 200-foot radius in every direction. Though that looked pretty cool. Yeah, the jammers are coming to find out don't work for shit on personally flown or personally operated drones, the ones where you got the headset and the guy's just sitting there with an Xbox controller. These guys are freaking good. I mean, seriously, they're good. But the jammers don't work. There's videos of like the one frame before kabloom, you actually see the jammer box on the back of the Russian tank. They're not working. But yeah, if they're welding and they're using welding. Okay. I think I'm reading something wrong on that one, FTM, on that one, guard. So, but yeah, Russian turtle tanks. Yep. Worstner says, waking up with a headache. Well, welcome to the club. I had to this morning after work. I was close to being sick of lack of sleep. Yeah, that was actually one of the things I couldn't sleep last night. I kept waking up going, ow, 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 ow. It's like it's how do I put this? It's like drinking a milkshake too fast. Ow, 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 ow. Then you move at least a little bit, and then something opens up or something relaxes, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, my adrenaline spikes. This is going to take about 10 minutes to fall back asleep, but whatever. Yeah, the thing is, I don't really drink anymore. I don't, so I don't wake up with a headache that often. I'm too old for that shit. Honestly, send me the DeLorean. I'm going to head back, and I'm never going to fucking drink. Maybe a couple of these, but this beer is burnt, so I'm good. Worstner says, wasn't me about red hairs. I'm all about those Kensune tails. Yes, we all know War Sniper. That's why it was your AI. And don't forget. Or your, as Ava says, artificial intelligent virtual assistant. Yes, I have committed that to memory, Ava. Thank you so much. There's the whole thing about MTF guard and beans, the magical fruit. And now, don't get me wrong, they are a good thing, but they shouldn't be a staple. Honestly, if your staple is a vegetable, you're screwing up your diet. Here, a lot of us, wheat is such a staple in our diet that it's just wrong. It actually does very, very bad things to the system, but we can recover from it. That's the kicker. But honestly, steak and vegetables meat, fruits, and vegetables, you stick with that, and you're going to look like a lot of those European guys, stick figure really quick. It's actually amazing how fast. Everybody I know, when they went into Italy, if they got a place off post and they started eating a purely Italian diet, like talking to the Italians and using their diet, every single one of them lost a minimum of 15 pounds. See, one guy, when he walked in, no kidding, I'm sitting there with his file. I'm looking at his picture, and I look at him. Look at his picture. Look at him. Look at his picture. He's like, yeah, I lost some weight. It's like, no kidding. Where's the rest of you? Is it coming in later? No kidding. He lost like 70 pounds. There was like nothing there. I'm like, what happened? He goes, I don't know. I haven't been doing nothing extra. I was like, okay, dude. Let's see. War Sniper says, when will the story season 2 with the healer with guns coming? Honestly, that was supposed to be right after the story I'm on, but I'm trying like hell to finish this one so I can move on to it because it is October. There's also another one that's kind of they're pushing each other as far as which one should come first. But it is October, so you can imagine there's another one that's more gruesome. And yes, the reason why this one got a little bit more, shall we say, turned into grade A gore porn or gorn, if you want to put it together. No, that's trademarked. I can't use that. Whatever. Is because it is October, guys. It's Halloween. Halloween's coming up. A little bit of grossness, a little bit of shocking, a little bit of what the fuck is what you need. Erica says, Syntax, I'll send you an email tonight. Okay, cool. Look forward to reading it. Lena says, when the ship reactor blows up, it explodes violently like a mini star. I'm not sure I understand the engine's explosions in your writings. It depends on the technology, and it depends on how the ship is built. Think of it this way. When you had a vehicle back in, say, the 1940s, 1950s, even in the 60s, if you T-bone that thing sideways, like really hard, like 60, 70 miles an hour, it would simply just fold on itself and put all that pressure into the crew compartment. Nowadays, if you get hit the same way, the engine compartment and sometimes even the trunk breaks away, releasing all that tension so the crew compartment is together. You're talking about basically the same vehicle, but they're built very, very different. The same thing, like with original vehicles, if the engine blew up or if somebody, helped out by putting something that might go kablooey underneath, you're pretty much screwed. Modern cars have the firewall, and if they don't get through that, you got a chance to jump out. But again, it really depends on the type of engines they're using, the type of power source, the location, because some of these engines are actually either in the bow or in the center of the ship. Again, each of the stories, it's different. The one they're working on now, you notice there's no mention of a fusion drive at all. They don't use it at all. There's no dropship thunder that comes with these. So this current one, they're all using gravimetrics to move around, and it helps them move around faster. That being said, there's different things that go on. If you're using a gravimetric engine and you're basically creating a mini star in there, what happens when you overload it? It immediately implodes and then explodes. But if you can stop it on the implode portion, you can eject it and it's going to friggin' blow up out away from you, which would be good if it wasn't for the fact that the shockwave is going to send you about Mach 30 in that direction, turning everybody inside into just these, well, human imprints of blood on the walls. Because at that speed, there's no, that water balloon that we call our meat suit is going to explode. But yeah, that's why it's difficult to understand in the writings, because they're not the same. They're all different, and they have to be, because you guys actually brought up the fact that I was starting to copy and paste a lot of things. Not that I was actually copy and pasting, but it was like I was using the same technology over and over and over again. And I want to get away from that, because again, you guys can see things sometimes I miss. So I hope that explains things, Leonid. Guardian Sage says there are books that have been published with the same style of writing as your stories. Oh, I'm sure there has. There's so many. They aren't very common, and they usually aren't very popular, but they do exist. Ouch. Nice to know that they got the same style. Now the thing is, if I did a long form story with, say, ambush predators with those, I mean, there's only about a dozen to 24 named characters. For each of the characters, with all the conversations, that series to get to the point it's at would be easily 4 times as long. Easily. You guys, just that first just the first chapter of Ambush Predators, the very first story, which I didn't think it was going to turn into a series, and thank you guys for helping out on that. That one alone could have been a smaller book of maybe 80 or 90 pages. Just from all the thoughts of where they, ah, shit, I got shot in the ass, which I'm sure everybody got a kick out of, shooting a giant cougar in the butt. And of course, then he had kids later with her, so he was shooting somewhere else. Anyway, no, sorry, bad joke. Anyways, yeah, to make these stories and not be unbelievably detailed, I have to leave a few things out. For it's raining, a lot of the personal stuff is gone. But it is what it is. Okay, SS Demon says, I just went through that. I shared the rough draft of my AI history, was given feedback, and now making changes. Second opinions most definitely help. You are 100% correct on that. Second opinions do help. Although I hate second opinions are, I don't like it, and they throw it away. It's like, what do you don't like? I just don't like it. Well, tell me what you don't like so I can fix it. I just don't like it. Don't be ambiguous, okay? If I want ambiguity and half truths, I deal with the Jedi, okay? That's just the way it is. That was actually for those of you who watched the Clone Wars, that was one of the best lines in the entire series as far as I'm concerned. Obi-Wan's old girlfriend saying, here's ambiguity and half truths, nothing more. And you could, I give the animators prop. They got the contempt in his eyes on that one. But the thing is, it's true. Everything they stand for is bullshit, and they know it. Okay, sorry, I had to cleanse the palate there for a second. All right, on to the next comment here. We have Demon coming back. He says, I have family and friends in Florida. Oh, shit. My friends are okay, but my cousin lives on Pine Island, which is predicted to be completely under Pine Island. You mean over on the southern tip? Yeah, I just saw a report on that. There was supposed to be 100% evacuation. And they were going to be sending the police in to actually drag you out of your homes. You're not supposed to be there. Now, whether or not that's true or not, I don't know because I'm not there. But yeah, that they're looking at a 15-foot storm surge over there. That's not cool. Now, that was before the storm shifted north a little bit, so it might have changed. He continues, he got off the island, good, but he's still in the main path. Scary. Yeah, I would think so. They need to change the way they build the houses over there and actually make them hurricane resistant. And I only know a few of them, and they look like, I don't know, like a giant egg. It's almost fully concrete. It's like 2 feet thick of concrete, but it can withstand the storm surge. It's up high enough where it could be 20-foot surge and everybody's fine. Your cars would be screwed, but get flood insurance on the car. Let's see. Oh shit! Hold on. This jumped. This jumped hard. Hold on. Let me adjust this, folks. Here. Okay. Whoa, shit. Lena comes in and says, my favorite fantasy story was about the subcontinent of India breaking of flat Earth, and East Indian Ocean Company sends people to space to find it, which is why everyone in space speaks English. Favorite story is breaking off flat Earth. I think it's what you're. Okay, I don't think I've ever heard of that one, Leonid, ever. I'm just not. I'm at a loss on that one. Guardian Sage coming in says, I heard that the storm surge may be as high as 15 feet. Yeah, that's what I heard, right around the eye of the storm. Not farther out, obviously, but the problem is it's hitting either right before or right after high tide, so it's really going to suck the water into there. This is bad. Yeah, Demon Sands, good old Fat Albert, created by a psycho. Anyways, Erica Gem says, I'm going to Florida to visit my grandma, aunt, dad, sister, and uncle. I'm a crazy uncle. Now that's freaking out. Might have been the last time to see her this side of the veil. You don't know that yet. You don't know that yet. And go by, just remember, plan for the worst, but always hope for the best. If you're planning for the worst, you can deal with the little shit. The little shit's nothing. Okay. The only issue you would have at this point is if they ran out of gas on the way out. That's a big issue. I don't know if you guys have seen, but just like those zombie apocalypse movies, the side of the highways going north is just full of cars that just ran out of gas. Just straight up just ran out of gas because they didn't top off, and there's no filling stations anywhere. There's no trucks coming in to refill the fueling stations, nothing. Which is why you always got to keep a little bit of fuel on standby if you can. If you live in an apartment, you're stuck on that one. That being said, there's ways. But in any case, I will say this. Here's to everybody over there. Let me turn that so I can say this without being a jerk. But here's to everybody being safe in Florida, and more people coming out of the Carolinas safe and healthy and getting their lives back. Amen. It says Demon down here saying, I'll keep your family in my thoughts and prayers along with mine, Erica. I wish them the best. We all do. MTF Gar says, and the craziest part is that he's not changing. He's not charging him a single damn time to stay there, unlike CNN, which is telling everybody he is. So, okay, yeah, about your sorry, he's on the island. Sorry, I'm trying to. I got literally 2 or 3 conversations in front of me right now, but yeah. Yeah, I hope they're not charging him. That would suck. Anyway, Sir down here says, do the one with the aircraft carriers. And Sir, okay. No problem. I'll keep doing the aircraft carrier. Don't worry, I got you guys written there. It's all right here. I'm not undoing this one. Let's see. Leonid says, we had Deadpool in the very first Wolverine movie as Wolverine's X project about 20 years ago. Yeah, that friggin' Deadpool. Even Ryan Reynolds said he hated it. That's the reason why he actually had somebody make him the suit, and he did that kind of like pitch saying, "Oh, Deadpool here," and then he did his classic ad lib stuff, which is kind of like how Deadpool does things. As it was really, really close. He's pretty much perfected it now. But yeah, after everybody hated that Deadpool and he hated the fact that he got screwed over by that and nobody wanted him for movies on that anymore, he was like, "Okay, I'll fix this. The movie studio's not going to fix it." And now Deadpool versus Wolverine, or Deadpool and Wolverine, was freaking great. I'm not going to ruin anything for anybody who hasn't seen it. I do recommend you watch it. However, if you haven't seen the first one, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you do so because I do reference it. Don't get me wrong. You're going to enjoy the first one. Clang. Oh, your poor wife. But anyways, Eric is saying thank you. Demon saying switching from phone to PC, so spelling is about to get a lot worse. And you are welcome to my outrageous friend. Okay, it's jumping here. Leonid said, "Is Dr. Brown the inventor of time travel, the DeLorean time machine?" As far as movie theaters go or any type of cinema, he was definitely not the first one to have a time machine. That one to be shown a time machine was the actual time machine. That was and I'm talking about the original black and white before they colorized it movie. That was, that was, and the thing is, soon after that, the Twilight Zone did a lot of time machine episodes. Now, the thing with the time machines is if you understand, fully grasp the concept of time, the butterfly effect, and how everything radiates out from everything you do, which is kind of what they were talking about when it came to Back to the Future. Yeah, you're gonna start losing your damn mind. Me, if I wanted to make sure my nieces and nephews were actually born, I couldn't go any farther back than the time I was in Korea. And I would have to, go with all the pains and everything else and several deployments under my belt at that point. And I think I had 2 deployments under my belt at that point. And I honestly, if I was smart, I would have just stayed there. I would have taken the money. I would have thrown it in the account and I would have done nothing but train and work out. And, maybe one of the Katusas would, point me in the direction of their sister or something. Yeah. Anyway, Sir says, I have family in Jacksonville, Florida. Actually, my buddy Hershey came from Jacksonville. He's not down there right now that I know of. He's, where is he? I think he's in California right now. He's married and stuff like that. His wife actually has Hershey tattooed above her butt. Why not? And no, it's not his actual name. It's a nickname he got because of his choice of women. That being said, he used to tell me a whole bunch of stuff about Jacksonville, and he was there when Hurricane Katrina came through, and they didn't really get smacked that hard, but it was bad enough. But I hope they're safe, sir, and I hope they got out. It's one of those situations where even though you think somebody might raid your house while you're gone, you're better off not being there anyway. And that's one of the things with over in the Carolinas and Georgia and Alabama is there's a group of folks going in and they're literally doing house-to-house search, just cleaning out all valuables they can find. And those people, well, they're looters, and we know what we need to do with looters. Click, click, boom. So anyways, Ernest Green says, me and everyone I work with said that they couldn't sleep last night. You know what it is part of it is the fact that second moon is fucking you up. Secondly, the weather has been weird lately. It's been really weird. And when it suddenly goes hot to cold to hot to cold to hot to cold, it's going to mess up your sleep cycle, something fierce. Honestly, the best way to sleep is your body is warm and the air around you is cool and preferably fresh from outside. Now, is that going to make it the absolute best sleep? No, but it's going to make it really, really good. That being said, if the weather outside goes from cold to warm, suddenly you're going to wake up pulling those covers off, going, "Ah, get me out of here." Oh, fuck. We've all woke up and kicked the covers off. It's not a big surprise. Although what is really bad when you're actually sitting there with your girl and she falls asleep next to you, and this one in particular, she loved to crawl onto my arm while I slept. That many mornings I woke up going, "Well, this arm's not going to work for 10 minutes. Shit. Hope I can pee with my non-dominant hand." Let's see. But I woke up and no kidding, I pushed the covers off. She goes, "It's cold." I said, "It's not cold." "How can you say that?" And I slid my arm out because of all the sweat that was between us. I was like, I need a drink of water so bad. I must have down like 3 big glasses of water, just slugged right after the other. I went back in and she's like, "Why is it so warm in here?" "Oh, now you're hot." It was just one of those days that did that. So, but anyway, again, when you try to sleep, do that. Another thing that could help a lot is to try grounding the body. If you have a solid concrete basement, or if you want to go outside, just take your socks and shoes off and put your feet on the ground for 20 minutes. Hell, it doesn't even take that long, about 10 minutes. We're electrical. Our hearts are electrical, so is our brains. And sometimes we have to just purge some of the shit out back into the ground. And a lot of people claim it works. A lot of people say it helps with back pain and stuff. And if I still have a headache, I'm going to walk outside when it's frost out here and walk out without my shoes on. So, the sir coming back, he says, "We have not heard from them yet." Key thing, yet, sir, yet. You know, we all, again, prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. Speaking of which, things you might want to have in your car in case you get messed. Remember, it's wintertime, folks, which means getting stuck on the side of the road is a real bitch. Certain things you want in your car. First off, you want a blanket and or a sleeping bag. Make sure that if you do a sleeping bag, it is actually a winter sleeping bag. Summer light sleeping bags are okay, but they will not help you out a whole lot. A thick wool blanket will help out a lot. It might not be the warmest thing you feel, but believe it or not, it retains a lot more heat than you think. Emergency blankets are nice, but most of them are so fragile that they'll rip when you pull them out. It's just crazy how fragile a lot of these things are. Also, make sure you have some water in the car. Put in a canteen, put in a thermos, whatever, and have something to snack on while you sit there and wait. Okay? If you take care of those, even if all you're doing is waiting for the tow truck, you should be able to get by just fine. Also, you need some sort of first aid kit. Okay? Even a simple first aid kit is better than nothing. A little liquid bandage, a couple of Band-Aids, maybe a gauze wrap. If you're worried about breaking something, a Sam Splint works great. But it's hard to find really good trauma kits that aren't this freaking huge. When I was in the service, our trauma kit, mass-wise, was about the size of a football. Take that mass, squeeze it down into a long rectangular square that folded open, and that's all you needed. All you're trying to do is either A, stop the bleeding, or 2, make sure the bone that's broken doesn't do anything funky. That's all you're doing. And you're just waiting for somebody else with more experience and more materials to come and get your ass. But if nothing else, a small first aid kit. Aside from that, you should be golden. If you want to go higher, then do what I did. I got a compressor that sits in the back of the car. It's battery operated. And yeah, it's there. It's sitting right next to the fire extinguisher. The fire extinguisher is not for the car, by the way. The fire extinguisher is to put everybody else out. You can get a new car. It's kind of hard to regrow a limb if it burns off. So, Leonid jumping back in says, your lifeboat needs to be separate. Needs to be separate new ship to keep you alive, depending on whatever is going to crush 30 years from the date of use. Okay. Yeah, that's actually a requirement. For those who don't know, that the life rafts actually they have an expiration date on them, And once the expiration date ends, you're supposed to send that back to the manufacturer. And this is for the inflatable ones, by the way. You're supposed to send that in. They need to recertify that. They'll actually open it up and repack it, because if you don't do that, then a lot of the plugs fail. It's a mess. It's just a total mess. And unfortunately, a few people have not made it because of that. Now, if you're talking solid life boats, yes, those need to be checked and double checked all the time. And again, they have a half-life, a hell of a lot longer than the inflatable ones. But Leonid, you are absolutely right. Let's see. Ernest here says, this storm is going to be a bad one. Yes, it is. We are already getting fast-moving band clouds. And oh shit, really? In Charlotte? Charlotte, if I remember correctly, is on the coastline. That all the way that far north? Holy flying fuckle knuckles, people. That's freaking crazy. I knew this storm was big. It's that big, huh? Well, shit on me and call me a Sunday. I didn't know it was going to be that bad. Yikes. My dad was telling me today when I was taking him to Costco, he's waiting until tomorrow morning so he can see the video of all the storm surge, because you won't get much of the video out until then. Most of the ground communications are shot. But yeah, I didn't think it was going back all the way up to North Carolina. When this storm pops its way out into the East Coast, I wonder if it's just going to go straight out, hit the Atlantic bubble, and get sheared to pieces, or if it's going to swing back north. If it swings back up north, that's going to be a big, big swipe. And if it aims for somewhere like New York City or Washington, D.C., you're going to see a lot of people who originally didn't give a shit about the people they're supposed to care about suddenly say, oh, woe is me. And you know what the American public is going to say? Fuck you. You said that to us, you get it back. Golden rule, people. Golden rule. Okay, Guardian Sage says, I'll have to go back and watch that episode of Star Wars or watch Obi-Wan's reaction. Yeah, it's in the Clone Wars. He's talking to, if I remember correctly, it's the lady who runs Mandalore. I don't know the name of the episode. I really, really don't. I'm sure a quick search will let you know which one that is. Let's see. Erica Gem says, my grandma is in very poor health. Look, I don't know what to say on that one, because I've been down that road more than once, and it's a hard road to follow. Okay, it's all I can say is, as much as you try to brace yourself, you will never, ever be fully ready. Just accept that as fact, and you'll be able to get through it a lot easier. And yeah, and that falls into like I've been doing in this story, because a lot of people think guys don't give a shit, but guys bond very deep, very, very deep. And just like it seems like you care about your grandmother a lot. And I don't care who you are. You can never be prepared. You're never fully prepared. You may get your house in order and everything like that, but in here, you won't be. All I can say is I hope she's okay. And I'm sure everybody else is saying the same thing. Okay. Where was I here? This thing jumped high. War Sniper says, a female friend of me lives in the Fort Lauderdale area in Florida, and she only got a tropical storm out of the hurricane. I don't know how bad tropical storm is. Tropical storm is just another depression. If the best way to look at it is go into what's known as millibars. If they actually show that anything below 1,000 millibars usually counts as a depression big enough or strong enough to be a tropical storm. Now they're going to go by wind speed and stuff like that. That being said, the lower it drops in millibars, the worse it's going to be. If it drops below 950, even if it's not there yet, you're looking at probably a Cat 3 or Cat 4. It drops below 900 millibars, and you're looking at freaking, I hope Noah got the doors closed type situations, because that's bad. That's very, very bad. But yeah, it's just a weaker version. That's all. Mostly rain and a lot less wind. And usually they move a lot faster. Hurricanes are usually really slow. Let's see. War Sniper continues with, I found it a nice edit. The cavalry had the sound in your video. Yeah. Actually, to get that done, I had to pull my phone out and hold it, over like this. And believe it or not, I had to do that like 3 or 4 times so you guys could actually hear it. Because for some reason, this wasn't picking it up, and I have no idea why. And then one time I went to play it, I went to go check it again, and I literally couldn't pull the headphones off fast enough. I just literally threw them across the room. I was like, am I bleeding? Am I bleeding? But yeah, I've been waiting for years to do that actual thing, that same line. Who's that? If I'm not mistaken, that's the cavalry. Believe it or not, that was supposed to be in a old MechWarrior story that I wrote a long time ago. But that one is, God, that story was bad. I was a teenager when I wrote that. Let's see. Lenin says the story about India being lost in space is from a comedy channel Bubbery that writes fictional history events. Okay. Kind of like no, I can't. Shit. I'm trying to remember. There was another one that did that, and it didn't go over well, at least here in the States. I think they got too political at a time, but yeah, I've heard some of the things that do that, and I'm not a huge fan, but it's basically a what if scenario. Let's see. Demon saying, I got to leave for work in like 20 minutes. I hate mandatory overtime. Hey, pretty soon, if certain people get elected, you won't get taxed on mandatory overtime. So that'll be good. Eric said, hope you have a good day at work, rest of the week and weekend. Yes, definitely. Tank, yeah. Okay, what, did you have a little drink there, Demon, and got tanked? It's definitely getting cold. Yes, it is. So I'm wearing a sweatshirt because right now it's getting a little chilly in this room. Even though tomorrow morning I have to start the fire. I started a fire today for the first time in the new stove, and it stunk up the damn house. If you'd never put a stove in and brand new stove and set a fire, a lot of the sealant that's on there just stinks to high heaven as it's coming off, because they put the type of sealant on it when it is being shipped, so it doesn't get all screwed up. It is what it is. Then now the stuff is gone. I don't have to worry about walking downstairs and going, holy Jesus fucking Christ, what the hell? From it stinking so much. Anyways, lean it on here saying you need to make sure that your time machine is locked to the planet Earth. You don't know where you'd end up. That's true. That is why you either want to manipulate time or space. If you manipulate space but not time, it's teleportation. If you manipulate space but not time, it's teleportation. If you manipulate time but not space, it's time travel. That being said, if you fix the time travel machine to, or whatever it is, to just a point in space and not a point on the planet, this planet's constantly moving. You're going to be out there somewhere. I mean, you take a 1 second time jump, and next thing you know, you're taking like a 50 or 60 foot drop. And depending on where you land, that might either be really wet, very painful, or you might be very dead, as the tree that you just landed on goes right up your, never mind. But you are correct. Guardian Sage says, yes, Korea, lovely country and people. I enjoyed all 3 times I was there. I hope that was for fun, not for going there for work. Of course, when I was there for work, honestly, we took, me and another, I was an E5 at the time. We took probably one of the worst companies on that peninsula, and we ended up turning them into a company that nobody wanted to screw with. And it was funny. I'm sorry. It's just funny when you hear another battalion going, I don't want to go against Bravo Company. No, you take them. No, you take them. No, you take them. You're assigned them. I'll trade you. It's like, it's try not to laugh in that situation. Let's see. Demon says, I'm too poor to go, but always wanted to visit. Yeah. I mean, Korea's nice. Honestly, I can have enough of their clubs because everyone is literally locked. I mean, you go from the bar to the front door and you literally have to hold your drinks up in the air like this and move sideways across because it's just so tight. And then you're rubbing against folks, and God help you, some guy doesn't like the fact that you're just trying to go that way, and his girlfriend is rubbing her butt up against your leg. And then he's like, I don't like what you did. And then start yelling at us. Dude, I don't speak Korean. I try. I suck at it. But yeah. And it just gets interesting. A lot of times you just say, I don't speak your language, dude. And they're just like, whatever. And they just leave. I used to know how to say whatever in their language. I know how to say it in Italian. It's allora, which is also a nice way of saying fuck it. Okay. Ernest Green says H.G. Wells, the founder of time travel. Okay, so H.G. Wells did it first. Okay, good to know. Good to know. He was also the first one to say, if aliens land here, they're screwed because we have things all viruses and bacteria and pathogens and parasites that are going to go inside their bodies and cause all sorts of problems. And before I say anything else, we got another $10 super chat from the Guardian Sage. And let me write this down, Guardian, before I do too much. And he says, I was stationed in Area 4 for my first, third, and fifth which was the last duty station. Hope you had fun going to clearing out your CIF at that point. I had so much fun at CIF there. Somehow, I ended up leaving with an extra set of plates. And I'm like, oh, cool, I got an extra set of plates. How the hell did this happen? And then I literally take them and go, ding, ding. Oh, these are training plates. They're just weight. They're not going to help me out. What the hell do I need these pieces of shit for? So anyway, I ended up turning them into CIF at my next duty station after I found out that they were fake. But yeah, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that very much. And yeah, I was just in there for 1 year, and I even went to SFAS when I was there, which my first sergeant didn't like because he was just a racist piece of shit. But you know what? Whatever. He can die a racist piece of shit for all I'm concerned. Anyways, thank you again, Guardian. And we're going to get back to these chats here. There's a little thing about H.G. Wells. Okay. Guard says, just sitting here on War Thunder, taking 1,000 hits in a Sherman. Italian captured German Firefly. Good one. Okay. For those that don't know, a Sherman Firefly is a standard German where they said, well, the gun's not big enough. Let's take this huge gun and put it in. Oh, it doesn't fit. Hold on. Crank, slide. Oh, it does fit. Let's do this. And that's the original War Daddy who, Brad Pitt ripped off. He always rips off better people than himself because he wants to look cool. And honestly, Brad, go fuck yourself. You didn't do that guy justice. You really didn't at all. That being said, if you watch the tanks as they're in formation, his Fury tank has a much larger barrel, which was the Firefly. The thing is, when they faced off against the Tiger tank, the Tiger crew, unless they were complete and total morons, which they must have been to lose the way they did, would have fired on the Firefly first, because if they took out that gun, they could have literally sat there, moved forward, and blasted the other three ones without any problems, because the standard cannons that came on the original Shermans couldn't punch through the armor even at point blank range. Which is why, being in the Firefly, a lot of times they tried to disguise the barrels, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Let's see. Leonid saying, I remember the H.G. Wells time travel movie, The girlfriend death is fixed event because he invented a time machine. Now, that's one of the things you got to be careful when you're making anything that's either time travel or dimensional. Because if you are, well, maybe I'll actually make the story eventually, or I shouldn't say make it, post it. But a character I created for the DC universe, when I was challenged to make a character for the DC universe and actually make it work, the guy's a dimensional jumper. But you don't want to have a universe where every decision you make creates a separate universe and a separate version of yourself. Because once you become a dimensional jumper, if you have a universe that creates a duplicate, now there's 2 of you, then there's 4 of you, then there's 6 of you. And eventually you're just going to be coming across more and more of yourself so much that it's going to be freaking ridiculous. So going by the same comic logic, even they have other dimensional jumpers, which means there's only one of you once you begin to dimensionally jump. For H.G. Wells, he decided to have something similar so that he wasn't running all over himself. Now, the thing is, they tried to rip that off in the Marvel What If series, which was god-awful. Don't ever watch it. Doing that with Doctor Strange, even though it didn't make any sense. If it wasn't fixed in the main universe, there's no reason it should be fixed in all universes or all other universes. That doesn't fly. Anyways, down here again, Guard says, don't just angle it if you try when you get to play War Thunder. Oh, try to angle your shot. Okay, good to know. SS Demon says, I'm still trying to decide on which version of time travel I want my AI thing to use. I keep changing my mind on that. I also keep changing my mind on the dimensional travel as well. It's going as well that it's going to have. Okay, time and now you're talking time and space are different. So those don't actually, you can do both at the same time. You don't have to. They can be a similar piece of equipment, but they can do completely different things. It's just that simple. You don't have to go crazy on that. You can literally say, adjust it from X frequency to Y frequency. And now instead of a time machine, it will jump to a dimension, but we don't know which dimension. And will this leap take us home or, something like that? Because that quantum leap was a time travel, almost dimensional travel type thing. But I mean, it yeah, you don't have to go too crazy on that one, Demon. The thing is, whichever time travel version you use, you have to make sure you don't break consistency. Okay, that's why I think I only did one time travel series. It's only 2 parts. And the thing, if I remember, it was called Dual Memories. And sorry for having a little bit of a spoiler on that, because the very first one was trying to figure out what in the fuck happened. Everyone's like, "What? This doesn't. What you're saying and what I'm seeing doesn't match up with the logs. Why does it say this and this happened? But what? How the? Where the? What the? How? Huh? This doesn't. None of this jives. What happened?" And it's fully explained in the second part. But yeah, whatever you do if you're going to stick with linear time, stick with linear time. If you're going to do when somebody jumps, if they're out of time, which means whatever they do has no actual lasting consequences because it's actually in a different timeline. Every time you jump, it creates a separate timeline that you jump to where whatever changes you made don't affect the base timeline, which people have messed with, and it will actually make your head hurt. Every time I do time travel, the front part of my brain is not from doing this. It's literally from me calculating all the different parts, trying to get it lined up right. I even got to stay away from this because I can feel it. And my actual headache is back here in my spine. I think I just slept wrong. Anyways, yeah, whichever type of time travel you stick with, you have to stick with. That's what's getting annoys a lot of people for like Back to the Future, because they tried to do a very linear timeline, but they stepped on it when it was convenient. Let's see. He continues with both, but not 100% sure how to go about it. Yeah, like I said, you don't have to go, don't overthink it is my point. Just don't overthink it. Guardian Sage, join the army. You get to go for free. The Catusas are friendly, but you have to watch out for the bar girls, also known as the drinky girls. And I still remember, I'm just sitting there playing billiards. She keeps coming up. Will you buy me a drink? No, get away from me. So I'm just waiting for my guys. I go to turn. She can't stand up. I mean, my hand almost can't go low enough for where this video was. I mean, she was just small. I very calmly took my pool cue, put it down, reached around her waist, picked her up, put her down, grabbed my pool cue, and walked over and made my next shot. I still remember I missed that shot. But even Mama-san behind the counter was like, what the fuck? Because I didn't groan, I didn't flinch, I didn't do nothing. I just picked her up and moved her. But come on, she couldn't have weighed 80 pounds soaking wet. There was nothing to her. Let's see. Demon saying, I'm 32, be 33 in June. I think I'm a little too old. Actually, you're not. It's 35, I think, now. If you're ever looking into that, just talk to a recruiter, guys. Just that's it. That's all I got. As a former recruiter myself, I can tell you, just talk to a recruiter. If you're interested, they'll just lay it out on the line for you. Let's see. War Sniper says, Sin, I see your PC screen. Truly your glasses. They're actually ballistic glasses picked up at the clothing and sales. Demon says, I will share that the AI I'm working on, PAI, has built an entire galaxy from scratch and can send the entire thing to another dimension and back in time. It's a real powerhouse. I'm excited to finish it. Jeez, what is this, from Warhammer universe? Because that is strong. That's some high level 0 point energy you're flipping around there. Okay, sorry, this thing's rolling here. Let's see. Lena says, in the Isaac, I'm going to screw this up, Asimov, I think I'm pronouncing that right, Foundation series, the escape pods use cryogenic technology to freeze the person. And I remember it took 34 years to reach another planet. Now, here's the thing. Everybody thought cryogenics was going to work. Well, they just thawed out a bunch of people that they fully froze, and the bodies just turned into goo. So simply freezing doesn't work. Now, in actual stasis, where you actually can create a field around it where nothing actually ages, you literally just fall asleep because it actually does have to stop your heart for a moment. A moment in your time, which is actually years and years and years in real time, that would work. But that technology is not going to be allowed, because if we release that technology, there's the regenerative technology, which is actually the same technology. It's all screwed. And not to mention, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's a lot more coming out about sonic and frequency coming out. I just saw a video today where they're able to take something. It looks like the guy's holding a giant silver coffee can. He walks up to a grease fire, holds it in front of the grease fire, and using frequency, he put the fire out in like 3 seconds. And all I could think of, and the guy hosting the show said the same thing. What if a fire truck came up, instead of raising the ladder, raised up on the side a whole bunch of this frequency stuff, blasted the frequency across, and suddenly the fire just dies, just goes out? That'd be great, but that would put a lot of guys out of business. The thing is, we've had this technology for fucking years. We just haven't been allowed to do it. And now we have the information age where people are doing this shit in their basements. And voila, motherfucker, we're just being able to do this, something that we should have been doing decades ago. And technology will put everybody out of work eventually. Eventually, the AI channels will get so good you won't be able to tell them from me, which would be bad. By the way, if you guys come across an AI channel and it sounds like me, let me know so I can flag and report those bastards. Fucking assholes. They've already ripped me off before. Okay. Demon says, I have to leave for work. Good night, everyone. I'll finish the stream later. Well, good night there. Lena says, In sci-fi, stealth torpedoes can be very deadly because it's impossible to defend against them. Yes and no. If you know the torpedo is somewhere in that area, you can set up something that can be disturbed. Now, you guys a few weeks ago talked about the diamond dust. You spread it across there, and you're watching the cloud of diamond dust, and you can see that in your sensors. As soon as you see the torpedo going through, bingo, you got it, and you just fire everything in that area and hope you get a hit. Nothing's impossible to defend against. It's just very, very complicated. Chris Dixon says, sorry I'm late. Got home late last night. Hey, no problems. It seems like everybody either got home late or couldn't sleep. Erica's saying, no Discord. I'm not a gamer. Yeah, I got my Battletech over there. I haven't finished it. Speaking of which, the game I was going to do on this as the Militia Maniacs, guys, I have run into a huge snag. Absolutely huge. I can't get the freaking system to work. All I need is the map to freaking rotate, and it won't do it, no matter what I do. I've been looking up videos whenever I get a chance to try and figure it out, and nothing's working. See, Chris Dixon says, please stress, don't rely on FEMA. Yeah, don't. We're here we're from the government, and we're here to help. Yeah. Ronald Reagan tried to do it right. He tried. God help him, he tried. He screwed up on a few things. I'll give it that, but he tried. God help him, he tried. Demon says, I don't need to be a gamer to use Discord. It's free unless you talk and share stuff. Lena says, T-34 was a very fun movie. I think I've seen that, but a long time ago. Erica Jim, really? I thought you had to play video games. No, you don't. You don't. It's a chat room type of thing. That's all it really is. But a chat room where you can send videos, you can send files. It's just easier. It can be done. I am not on there enough times, and when I'm on this, even when I'm writing, I have to shut all the Discord stuff off because it will chime constantly. So if you're not able to, see if it works for you. It does not work for me, especially since if it's on, it also chimes on my phone, and I'm trying to have a conversation and things going off in my ear. Thankfully, not blowing up like I'm over in freaking Lebanon or some shit. But it's still, it doesn't work well for me. Okay. And Erica, don't say you're not a smart person. Self-degradation is something you do when you're sitting around having some drinks, but not for the no. Not being smart, or the way you're saying it, says inferring that you're dumb. You're not dumb. You're not informed. That's it. So what if I don't know something? Like if somebody asked me about baseball, how's the Red Sox doing this year? I wouldn't know. I don't know because I don't care. But that doesn't mean I'm not. That doesn't mean I'm dumb if I don't know about who's playing third base, or who's on first. It doesn't freaking matter. So if I want to know, just like if you want to know about this, go ahead and dive into it. Okay. Lena says, MCU should make Captain Britain into the movie. It would be fun. I believe they did, if I remember correctly. It didn't go over well. I enjoyed it, though. It was campy as all hell, but it worked. SS Demon says, for real, night, everybody. Got to go now. Bye. I'll see you later, Demon. Chris says, some people hear Sam and think Supernatural. I hear Sam and think Quantum Leap. Yeah, I couldn't really get into Supernatural because it was designed for daytime television and nothing but homebody mothers. And I'm just sitting going, God, that's dumb. That's seriously an idiot. These guys are supposed to be ready for anything, and yet they always have to change their plans halfway through. Just, what the hell? Okay. Ernest saying, punching out. I have to go secure a building. Oh, go ahead. Okay. Hopefully, whoever you're shooting in there, they don't shoot back first. Okay. Lena says, Guardsman, why is your wife's ears? Oh, okay. I see, Lena. You're talking about a 40K story on that one. And as I've stated before, I've done one 40K story. It crashed and burned bad. I personally, since I'm not a 40K fan, I cannot do justice to a preset story like that, or preset setting. You know, I'm a big BattleTech fan, so I can do a lot with that. I cannot do much with 40K because I don't know all the backstory. I don't know all the characters. I would be so fucking lost, and I wouldn't be able to make a good story. And I just tried to do something with it before, and again, it crashed and burned, exploded on impact. See, Guardian Sage Tinted Ballistic Eye Pro, the best sunglasses. Yeah, actually, I even wear these when I do my other channel. When I start the other channel, I got my notes for that. I got my notes right here for that. Going to be starting up the Crazy Uncle channel again if I can. Again, this here, the long form stuff is just taking up so much time that I haven't been able to do it. Warsniper saying, hey, good night, everybody. It's 0142. I gotta go to sleep. Yeah, good night. Definitely pass out. Leon says, in the future, aliens go to Earth and find the artifact plastic figurine of a human idol. Hatsune Miku. That'd be funny, actually. Hold on. Aliens find plastic idol doll. Or better yet, they find, Cat Girl or Kensune, their War Sniper. Oh, no, wait, he's out. And think, oh, is all the humans got nice tails like that? Ooh, I like tails. Then they get there, go, oh, that'd be funny. Chris Dixon says, by the way, I wrote a story while traveling. I'll type it up and send it tomorrow. Oh, by all means, I got to get more into making sure I check my emails. And definitely, if it fits for the channel, I will read it. I will definitely read it on the channel, and I will give you credit. Make sure you have the name. If you want a different handle there, Chris, then let me know. And if you have a certain either Reddit thread or YouTube channel or whatever, make sure it's on there so I can put it in the description box. Guard says, I hate fighting the U.S. and Russia in realistic mode in War Thunder when I'm playing Italy. Well, Italy didn't exactly have the greatest of armor at the time. That's to say the least. They can't. I've been to Italy. They shouldn't have worried about armor. Have you ever been to the mountains of Italy? I mean, seriously, that is an infantryman's fight. That shit is almost vertical. It's no wonder, especially during the First World War, it was almost a complete stalemate because they couldn't get people down one side of the hill and up another in time. They ran out of shells half the time, and it's just crazy. You can't get any armor through that area at all. He continues with, it feels like weak spots that I could hit 1,000 times over in arcade mode, which shows weak spots, and you can't. All of a sudden, those shots are just bouncing like crazy. Yeah. That's just settings in the game. I don't know what to do. And it continues again. He says, like, what do you mean my Sherman VC can't penetrate the cheek of just a KV-1? Viz 5. Sorry, I was thinking about the wrong tank. No, KV-1 is actually pretty beefy. That being said, if you get it right around the tracks, you should get penetration. That was one of their weak points, actually. They tracked very, very, very easily. But in the game, if they don't allow it to do so, yeah, KV, that's like the biggest sweet spot besides the driver's viewport. The KV-1 is just basically a smaller version of the Moss. So I don't know what to tell you. Let's see. Russia, War Sniper says, Russia hit the driver's hatch. America hit the machine gun port. Okay, there you go. There you go, guard. Russia hit the driver's hatch. American hit the machine gun port. So right in the nose for America, and aim a little bit higher. Or no, driver's hatch. So yeah, just a little bit higher for the Russians. A dragonfly attack helicopter. You mean from Dune? Nothing makes sense. Honestly, I could go into a whole thing, but if you look up Sacred Cow Shipyards, he did a whole thing on those, and I agree with pretty much everything he says. Nothing makes sense as far as dragonfly attack helicopters in Dune. The closest you get is those Wookiee ones you saw in Star Wars, because they're only two-seater and there's really nothing to them. And they're using organic material anyway. So that could probably hand up to the stress. But mechanically speaking, no, not a chance. Guard says, I'm playing Italy. Leonid says, I think I forgot about a story about an urban mage detective in New York. Why does that sound familiar? Oh, no, wait. I'm thinking Batman in Gotham. Urban mage detective. New York. All right. All right, everybody. It seems like we've pretty much come to the end. I can see the viewer count's gone down significantly in the past about 20 minutes. I think everybody's either going to sleep or focusing on something else. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give your final safety brief before I say goodbye. Remember, if you drink, you don't drive. You drive, you don't drink. If everybody wants to drink and drive, feel free to beat his ass. If you end up going in front of the judge or justice of the peace or whatever because of that, let him know I told you, and I will gladly say, hold on. Don't move. Everybody stop right there. Hold up. Wait a minute, because we got another super chat from Brian Kemp. Let me write this down so I don't forget you. And he says, missed most of tonight's broadcast due to the dinner and debriefing pilots. Debriefing pilots. Are you down there in the Carolinas or something? Regardless, enjoying the story. So yeah, I'm glad you do, and I hope you enjoy this long form one, but don't get used to, like I said early in the stream, don't get used to long form, because these just take for freaking ever. They are just, it's taking up all my time and I can't do anything else. And if I get pulled off to help somebody, then everything goes out late. So yeah. Okay. He says Kansas City. Okay. Kansas City. Experimental helicopter called the Dragon. I'll have to look into it. I'm trying to remember what you're talking about. Anyways, let me write that down. Dragonfly helicopter. All right, I'll look into that later. But yeah, everybody, make sure you keep your powder dry, your head on a swivel. Remember, it's getting to be fall, which means a lot of critters are going to be out on the road trying to make sure they get all their stuff for the winter, which means if you see a deer, slow down. There's probably two. If you see a bear, slow down. There's probably another one. You don't need any of that going through your windshield. Also, if your little soldier goes into the bush, make sure he wears his poncho. It gets wet in the bush. Also, I will see you all next time. Stay safe, and I'll see you next week here on Syntext Live. This is your host, Syntext, punching out.